Nick. Today, the executive director of the Public Utility Commission of Texas testified in front of the state's Electrical Reliability Oversight Committee. That testimony provided some insight into what the Texas Legislature may tackle in the upcoming session, especially when it comes to utility oversight. Our newest Capitol correspondent, Dylan McKim, is joining us live here in the studio this afternoon. Dylan, thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me.
You know, this afternoon you got to listen into that hearing after it lasted for a few hours. The director spoke about the response to Hurricane Beryl, which we've, of course, covered very closely about all the power outages that it left. What did we learn about the shortcomings in that instance and how it could shape policy in the upcoming session? Yeah,
it's hard to think that Hurricane Beryl was almost 6 months ago, right? It was this past summer, and we remember seeing those images of people without power for weeks, and it was really an issue that the utility there, CenterPoint Energy for this case, had a big problem there. So the governor, upset by what he saw, definitely wanted an investigation by the PUC to see what went wrong. And when they did their investigation, majority of people will tell them that they were upset by the lack of communication and the lack of knowledge of knowing when the service was going to be restored, when power was coming back into their homes. I mean, it got so bad, Will, that people were resorting to the Whataburger mobile app to see where there were power outages, right? Now, CenterPoint Energy has an outage map, but at some points during the early phases of the aftermath, you didn't see anything on that outage map. So they were looking at their Whataburger app. And when a fast food restaurant's doing a better job than utility, there's an issue there. So the PUC, of course, is asking the ledge to do some work here when it comes to amending the electric code that has to do with customers' rights. So they want to make it mandatory that all municipal utility operators have to, in some way or fashion, provide a outage map that we're so used to here in Austin. With Austin Energy, we see those outage maps all the time whenever. Not every utility is providing that. That can become mandatory if the Texas Ledge decides to take action this session. Also, making it, having a 24-hour service where someone can call to get, if there's a power outage at their home in the middle of the night, or they're just trying to figure out when the service is going to be provided. And also establishing some designated contact for vegetation hazards like those trees that get in the way of power lines, making it easier for customers to communicate with those service providers to take care of that problem before it becomes a bigger issue.
It would seem like all those reforms would be understandable for many out there, but the director also brought up this idea of some sort of penalty structure for outages during a disaster. What might that look like?
There is already a current penalty structure in place. Think of this metric: customer minutes interrupted. Right now, that is on the books. So if there is a duration and frequency that it keeps happening where you keep having a power outage, those utilities can be penalized. What the state wants to do, or I should say the PUC wants to do, is make sure that it also applies to disasters like hurricane events like wildfires.
And finally, Dylan, I want to ask you about this. The PUC, its report come January. Of course, that's when the session starts as well. The director teased today during the hearing that there will be more recommendations in that report. What might we expect with that?
They kind of teased to it. We don't know exactly what's going to be the recommendations, but it has to do a lot with the wildfires we saw in the Panhandle. So we look back at those and we had those images from the officials telling us that was started by a utility pole that fell down onto some brush, dry conditions. It sparked a fire that ended up becoming the biggest fire in the state's history, wiped out people's lands. And so really the recommendations would look at making some better infrastructure standards and those maintaining their equipment, these utilities maintaining their equipments with like utility poles, the power lines, making sure there's some standards in place so that people, we don't have those kind of disasters like we saw earlier this year in the Panhandle.
Well, Dylan, we appreciate you tracking this for us today and for all the coverage that you're going to do come the new year during the session.
Happy to be here.
All right, thanks so much.